It's October 4th. Welcome to the Oakleaf Online, where students discuss local and national news. I'm Mia McMath.
And I'm Monroe. Let's get started.
You're watching the Oakleaf Online, the student-produced media network of the Santa Rosa Junior College.
It's that time of year again. You might notice grapes on the vines and apples on the trees. Our Oakleaf reporters Nikki and Genesis have a suggestion for what to do with all those ripe, delicious apples.
It is harvest season here in Sonoma County, and gardens are abundant with veggies. Another often forgotten about delicacy of the area are apples. The fruiting trees are so productive and plentiful that they are often overlooked, leading to tons of apples going to waste. There are hundreds of different recipes on how to preserve apples so they can be enjoyed throughout the cold of winter, a reminiscent taste of summer days. Among all the creations possible, nothing warms you up like some homemade hard apple cider. Simple steps can turn these otherwise wasted apples into a fermented delight. A few specialized tools make the job easier, but a home juicer works just fine for smaller batches. For large batches, larger receptacles called carboys are needed, although a 5-gallon water jug is adequate. An apple grinder and press will make short work of the 100 to 150 pounds of apples needed to obtain 5 gallons of juice. About 3 apples weigh a pound. Once a substantial amount of apples have been gathered, they can be run through the grinder, being sure to catch the ground product. When enough is collected to fill the press, take a break from grinding and fill the press with the apple shavings. Have a bucket already in place when dumping. Liquid will begin to pour before any pressure is applied. Crank the screwing mechanism until the amount of juice coming out stops, increasing after each torque, flowing to a drizzle. Reserve the crank and empty out the spent apple shaving. Repeat until you have a total of about 4 gallons of liquid. Funnel juice from the bucket into the carboy. It is best to have some space for bubbling at the top of the carboy. Add yeast. We are using an M2 wine yeast. Its alcohol content can reach the mid to low teens, making it fermented dry, meaning the yeast have eaten all the sugar. During the fermentation process, you have the choice to either create a bubbly apple cider or a high-gravity apple wine. This is dependent on how long it is left to ferment, and if any additional sugar is added. After 4 weeks, your elixir will be ready for racking and bottling. In order to prevent the alcohol from turning into vinegar while storing, add half of the sulfite tablet per gallon to cider. Siphon the produced cider or wine from carboy into clean, sealable bottles. Once racked and bottled, you can indulge right away or let age for as long as you desire. Drink home brew responsibly. This film was brought to you by the Fall 2016 J55 Video Journalism class.
Thanks for that, Nikki and Genesis.
I love this season. Halloween is my favorite time of the year. The season is just around the corner. Holly Bollinger and Brendy Dorson took a trip to one of the area's most popular haunted houses, Blind Scream.
The Halloween season is in full swing in Sonoma County. As kids get ready to trick-or-treat, some go for more extreme scares on Halloween. We sent reporters to a local haunted house to check out what goes into the making of a classic Halloween attraction.
Hey, this is Brendan Dorsey with the Oakleaf. I am here at Blind Scream Haunted Houses in Rohnert Park. We're interviewing people going through the haunted houses and getting pretty scared.
We interviewed Drew Dominguez, co-creator of Blind Scream, and asked him about the work that goes into creating the haunted houses.
We're working on them all year. We're already working on next year's haunted houses. We're even working on some of the props for next year's haunted houses. It takes a long time, and just to get the right ideas, just to get all of the, the actors and the characters and all those storylines in, and to make them all cohesive. That way, as you walk through the haunted house, you're actually walking through a play. So we find it very beneficial that when you walk through that you kind of know where you're at and where you're heading towards, and probably it's doom, by the end, but you first walk in and you kind of can understand it.
Over 120 actors participate in the 3 different haunted houses that Blind Scream created this year. The creative process can be rewarding, and actors love the camaraderie that comes from working at Blind Scream.
I was on the construction team as well this year, and I did some of the casting and some of the choreography and stuff, and it's so much work, but ultimately the goal is, when I hear screaming, that's like a symphony to my ears. Like, I know that all the work we did was worth it. I don't know.
Flash! Well, I'm in a spot where people kind of have to come around a corner, so they're kind of stuck having to come by me. And then, honestly, if people are scared, I try to go off what they say. If people are like, "Oh my God," it's like, "Oh, you better hope God saves you," Or...
With over 20,000 square feet of scares to brave through, co-creator Judy Groverman Walker wants to ensure that the quality of horror stays high for the customers.
Yes. Yes. So it was really important because we want to make sure that our customers get a great scare. So we're always going through and evaluating, and always looking for something new, and hoping that somebody comes up with something fun, and we give pointers, and it's a lot of fun.
Young and old enjoyed the thrills. The sights, sounds, and even the smell of dead bodies make customers want to come back for more.
You want to go in another haunted house? You want to go another one?
Yeah, great.
He came out and he said, "We're never doing that again." I said, "Do you want to go again?" And he goes, "Yeah." We had a blast. Well worth it. We had a good time.
I want to go again. One guy who was like a clown, and he ran up and started hitting the walls. And it was really scary because the whole time I was looking back and putting the glow sticks to make sure there's no one there.
Blind Scream's doors open at 7 p.m. on select nights, and the haunted house will run until October 31st. This has been Brendan Dorsey with the Oak Leaf News.
Thank you, Holly and Brendan.
That's all the time we have today. Tune in for our next episode when we'll discuss the midterm elections. Whatever your politics, be sure to vote. Register now to vote for the elections on November 6th.
Happy Halloween!
Boom!
Oh my God.
This has been another episode of the Oak Leaf Online. This has been a production from SRJC's Media 19 class.